Hey guys, new location for today because otherwise I want to be able to record. I hope you like normal camera quality for once, even though I kind of have to slouch down to get into the camera. But today I kind of wanted to talk about how other people's emotions, other people's issues aren't your problem. And yes, that can sound actually really awful, and I don't mean that in like a terrible way where you're like just bad to people and you do things to people and they react and then you're like, well, that's not my problem, or not taking accountability for the way you make people feel. But in this case, I'm gonna bring up a very specific example. So I had gotten into a conflict with somebody a while ago, and this was a friend at the time, and at the moment I was pretty like riled up, energetic, and all that stuff, and we were poking fun at each other, and I think I said, you don't look like this anime character, and they're like, oh, well, I was planning to cosplay them. And I kind of doubled down on my joke. I was like, you have a beard though, they don't. And I was joking around. I was saying you're not like this character. I wasn't saying you couldn't cosplay them, but that's kind of the idea they got, and I took a joke too far in the moment. I was very caffeinated, blah blah blah, whatever. But the way the friend had handled it was very not good. They'd actually like kind of exploded, and amongst other things just did not react well. And so we had talked about this days later in the period of time, and their conclusion was that I was trying to like peg them down by saying, you're not this guy, you can't do this, you can't do the things you want to do. Like I was trying to insult them passively, but I kind of had to stop them and go, hey, I know it could have seemed that way, but in reality, I was joking. I took a joke too far, and I wish you would have like told me in the moment, because I would have reacted better, opposed to having to react to their explosive reaction. But the point that I wanted to get to with this was that then they were like, well, you would have reacted worse, and then I was like, sorry, jumbling my words, I'm a bit scrambled today, and then I kind of like stopped and went, let me think on this. If I were to respond to this kind of situation, I would kind of, if somebody were talking to me or insulting me or pegging me down in a way that I didn't like, I would actually stop and either go, hey, let's cut this conversation out, like I'm not about this, or I would look inward if it did upset me, if other people's, the things that other people said upset me, or the things that other people showed me they felt upset me, I would have had to look inward and be like, well, what about this actually upset me? Do I need this person's validation? Do I need something from this person? And most of the time, actually 99 times out of 10, the answer should be no. You don't need that validation from anybody. You don't need that from anybody. And you kind of have to just like pause and go, okay, wait then. Why did I let this upset me in that case? If I don't need their validation, if I don't need something from them, because you can sit there and either talk it out and communicate it and be like, hey, why are you trying to like peg me down with these things you're saying? Or you can just simply realize maybe the person does it over and over and over again and be like, hey, actually, I don't even want the validation from the kind of person who would say or do these kind of things to me. And let me pause real quick. That wasn't my intention in this, but I'm kind of using it as an example where I could have been a perpetrator in this case. So, it really was well-intentioned, but you have to pause and go, hey, why are these people's words upsetting me? Is there a hidden meaning behind the things they're saying that's actually hostile? Do they actually want to peg me down? Do they want to insult me? Or maybe somebody straight up insults you and it makes you mad. You have to stop and go, hey, actually, what about this is making me angry? What about this is like triggering me and making me feel the need to respond? Because I've noticed that whenever I've gone angry at other people for telling me things like, oh, you can't do this, you're not capable of this kind of thing, blah 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 blah, which is what used to make me actually angry. One of my only things actually that could make me angry was whenever people would tell me, hey, you can't accomplish this, hey, you can't do this, you can't do this. And that would make me so angry, because part of me believed it, and part of me was letting that information from the other person feed into my psyche and feed into what I believed about myself, and that just made me so genuinely angry. And a lot of the time when people do this, when people say these kind of things, they're trying to project onto you. They're trying to put their limits onto you, and therefore creating your own limits, because in reality we don't have limits. We can accomplish what we want, we can do what we want, we can do all these things. But moving back to my previous example, whenever I was telling my friend, oh haha, you don't look like them though, you have a beard, they don't, like I was saying those kind of things, they felt like invalidated in a way. They thought I was telling them what to do, I guess. And that's a valid thing to get angry for. We're people, we're human, we get angry over that kind of thing, but we need to stop and like pause and think like, hey, how can next time if something like this happens, I can just be collected in the moment and go, actually, this doesn't upset me, but it shows me the kind of person they are, or it shows me that I need to communicate and talk this out with them. Because in reality, there are people who harmlessly do these kind of things, but people also unharmlessly do these things. They have an ill intention behind these things. And if they're like a friend, for example, you could want to communicate it out, talk it out, do that kind of thing. Or if they're not, you can just kind of realize what kind of person they are and what kind of intentions they have for you. But again, to loop it back around, you have to like ask yourself, what in this interaction triggered me and made me mad? Because in reality, nobody has a grasp over you. Nobody has a grasp over how you feel, over who you are, what you think of yourself. Oh, the car turned off. Over what you think of yourself, over all of these things. And whenever we get angry, whenever we get mad, we're letting these people dictate how we feel. We're letting these people dictate what we think on the scenario, or we're just creating issues in our head. And whenever we pause and kind of go, hey, wait, actually, this person's words mean nothing to me, and I actually don't care, we get so much power back. Me personally, I would get really, really angry when I would have these fake friends who would constantly like peg me down, or mind you, these are situations I couldn't get away from in the moment, so like I was kind of forced to stay with these friends. I would get angry when these people would like peg me down or passively insult me, or I'd say something like a joke and they'd be like, oh, you couldn't do that. Like, just, the little things, those kind of things where people kind of try to bring you down. And then over time, I just paused and went in my, like, I used to get defensive, by the way. I would get defensive and be like, well, this, and this. Like, I would get defensive. I would get really defensive. Over time, I just kind of paused in my mind and would go like, wait, actually, this is just showing me who this person is. This is just showing me more about them and what's in their mind and what they think of me, which isn't necessarily the best things. And I would, whenever like they would do those things again, I would just stop and be like, actually, I'm not even gonna respond to this. I'm just gonna change the topic, because again, this is just showing me what this person believes about me, and it has nothing to do with me. The only person who can dictate anything about me is me. The only person who can control what I do, what I am, the things I say, how I think, is me. Only ever. Nobody can control you. Nobody can control anything about you, which is what I've realized a lot of anger actually stems from. And like, anger and these reactions to like people insulting you or doing these things, it's like kind of control in a way, or for me it has been. It's like whenever these people would tell me, you can't accomplish that, you can't be these things, you can't do that, it was because I was giving that control to them, and I was getting angry over it, because I'm like, well, screw you, yeah, I can, but in the end, you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to argue with people whenever they like say or imply these things about you. You don't have to actually freak out, whenever you do that, shockingly as it is, you're giving this person power. You're giving this person the power over you. And so I would find myself just like kind of reverting to my mind immediately whenever I noticed these people would try to peg me down or insult me or compete with me for no reason, mind you. I would just kind of go to my head and be like, I actually am not super affected by this, because it just shows me the kind of person they are, the kind of things they think, the kind of things they do. Like, it's just a reflection of who they are, and it doesn't have to get to your spirit. It doesn't have to get to you. And that actually was such a freeing realization for me. It was such like an empowering thing for me to realize, like, I didn't need these people's validation. I didn't need them to know about me. I didn't need them to know that I was actually capable of these things. And you could prove these people wrong and be able to things they're like, no, you're not, about, or they'll insult you. You don't have to prove it to them. You can simply just laugh it off, or laugh who they are off, or like laugh the whole thing off and go about your day. You don't have to give them that power over you. Because in reality, you've probably heard this before, whenever you let people make you mad, you're giving them control over you. And nobody controls you. Nobody can control you. Unless you're in a physical situation where, like, for example, you're living under somebody's roof or something like that. That's a very, very unfortunate thing that can, unfortunately, control you. But what I mean in general is that 99% of people can't control you. And it's often ourselves who give these people the power whenever we react in certain ways, whenever we think certain things after they do or say things. Like, take that power back. Next time somebody tries arguing with you about something, maybe about yourself, or like to tell you who you are, or to insult you or whatever, you don't even have to respond. You can just go quiet or change the topic and like silently in your mind go, well, now I know the kind of person this, like, and I know the kind of person this person is. I know who they are. Like, they're showing me who they are. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're the kind of person, or whoever the kind of person is, to be telling you what you are and trying to insult you or judge you or make you feel a certain type of way about themselves, about yourselves, that's typically an insecure person who, in their mind, wants to control you one way or another. They want to control who you are. They want to control your ability, and that's not the kind of person you want in your life, first of all, and that's not the kind of person whose validation you want, second of all, because that's a controlling person. That's a toxic, manipulative person in a lot of cases. And that's not the kind of person you should be going, what's the word? You should be going kind of crazy for, to like believe you or to have validation. You just need to laugh it off and go about your day and be like, well, that's who they are. Because why would you even want the person who thinks this way or that way? Why would you want their validation in the first place? Why would you care how they view you? Why would you care if they viewed you negatively? Because that's a sour-minded person. That's a sour-minded person. Why do you care if the person who wants to control others, who needs people to fit in a box for them, who is being bad to others or just not good to others, why would you care how they viewed you? The only people's opinions you should care about are the people you genuinely respect, the people in your life who you think are good, genuine people. And good, genuine people don't bring you down or don't try to make you feel negative about yourself. That's just not, it doesn't add up. But I think I've said everything I need to. No Juniper, unfortunately, for this video. She's terrified of cars. Maybe I should put the Pikachu right here, though. But, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I guess you guys might have to see me recording cars every once in a while, because I can't always record on the side now. But, because I want to post daily, and the reason I haven't been able to post daily is because, of my roommate. No offense to them, just because, I can't record when people are in the house. But anyway, guys, peace. Hope this, oh wait, real quick, actually. If you relate to this, or if you have experiences similar to this, please share it in the comments, because I know that there's people out there who are gonna be watching these videos who also want advice, or who are gonna want to find people to relate to, amongst other things. And I feel like the comment section here is just like a really great place to do that. And I do also learn through you guys, just like how I like sharing things. So please like share your experience, or like tell me if you've been through something similar, or how you kind of had to get over similar things. Anyway, guys, peace.